Today I have the keys to the all-new 2021 Cadillac Escalade ESV Premium Luxury. Huge shout out to Randy, Mary, and Cadillac for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely check out their website. That will be down in the description. This model here is finished off in Black Raven and it has an MSRP just under $95,000. Let's go ahead and jump into today's review by starting up underneath the hood, where you'll find the 6.2 liter V8 engine. New for the 21 model, however, you can opt for the 3 liter turbo diesel. Both engines are paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission. This 6.2 liter pumps out 420 horsepower, around 5,600 RPM, and 460 pound-feet of torque, around 4,100 RPM. It is rear-wheel drive. It weighs in around 5,700 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just under 6 seconds, up to its top speed of 120 miles an hour, and with a fuel capacity of 24 gallons, you can expect to see around 14 miles per gallon in the city and 19 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 120.9 inches. Its overall length is 211.9. It has a width of 81.1 and a height of 76.7 inches. With all those specs out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the exterior walk around on the all-new Cadillac Escalade. I'm going to start up front with the grille. You can see just how large it is. There's really nice brushed trim pieces surrounding the upper section, along with down below, and they protrude nicely into the headlights. You'll see more of that pattern running throughout the mesh and cutouts to provide cooling to the engine. Of course, the Cadillac badge is front and center, along with a forward-facing camera that's nicely integrated just underneath that. You'll see there's parking sensors that run throughout the middle section of the bumper, and then on both sides of that we have the DRLs. They are very large, have a nice vertical design to them, and then just above that we have the LED headlights that are very sleek and have a great design to them. Down at the very bottom you'll see some more contoured lines in the bumper, along with some more of the brushed trim, and it has a fantastic look from the front. Moving up to the hood now, you'll see there's really nice contoured lines running down it. But now as we make our way to the side profile, you'll see a set of 22-inch wheels. They have a very nice finish to them, along with a multi-spoke pattern. The mirrors are body colored. They're heated, feature the integrated turn signal, and there's a camera on each one. I will show that system later in this video. Up top, this has a sunroof. You can see some chrome trim on the roof racks, along with surrounding the windows. It's also down on the lower section of the door. This particular model has the running boards to help you get in and out of the vehicle, and there's very nice lines that run down the side profile. You'll see there's one that starts at the headlights, it goes up underneath the mirror and above the door handles, all the way back to the taillight, just giving it a very clean look. And finishing up in the rear with the body colored spoiler and the integrated third brake light, you'll see just how massive these LED taillights are. They extend from the spoiler all the way down to the bumper, with the turn signal in the lower half of them. Right in the center of the power liftgate, we have the backup camera, along with parking sensors running throughout the lower section of the bumper. The 600 badge on the right side of the liftgate is for 600 Newton meters of torque, and then over on the left side is Escalade spelled out. This also has a towing capacity up to 7,700 pounds, and then in the lower section of the bumper, you'll see the dual exhaust, finished off with chrome accents. Now it's time to go ahead and take a look at the interior on the all-new 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Before we do that, however, I'm going to go ahead and lock the vehicle, double tap on this button on the key fob. This has remote start, which is a really cool feature to see, and then with the vehicle on and running, all you have to do is walk up to it. You'll grab the release on the back side of the door handle, and that way we can open it up. And then looking at the door panel now, you'll see there's really nice leather on the armrest, along with a wood trim and chrome trim piece above that. It's on the release handle. You also have the heated and ventilated seat controls. And then working our way down below that, we have all of the window controls along with the power mirror adjustments. There's a really nice trim piece surrounding all of those buttons, and it has a nice metallic flake to it. And then you'll see even more leather and white piping running around that. There's a little bit of storage space in the lower section of the door, and this also has a 19-speaker AKG audio sound system. Making our way to the door sill now, you'll see Escalade spelled out. And then moving on to the black leather seats, you'll see the Cadillac emblem right in the center. There's also speakers in both sides of the headrest and more of that white piping. They have a beautiful design to them, and of course they have a multiple way power adjustability. You have all those controls down on the side. Moving on to the steering wheel now, you'll see it's completely covered in solid black leather, along with black stitching running along the inside. Down at the bottom, you'll see more of the wood trim and brushed aluminum trim to give it a really nice look. Over on the right side, you can control volume. You have scrolling for the radio, which you can see in the gauge cluster there, along with being able to make phone calls, and you can go between different stations as well. Over on the left side, you can control the heated steering wheel along with the distance pacing. You have the cruise and adaptive cruise control along with voice commands. And then this also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. They are finished off in black, have a very nice finish to them. And then making our way to the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see a dimmer switch for the gauges, along with a trailer braking system and the electronic parking brake. And then just above that, you have modes for your two-wheel drive, 4 high and 4 low, along with an off-road mode. And then clicking the far right button, you have different driving modes to go through, from Tour, Sport, Off-road, and a tow and haul mode. And then right above those controls, you'll see one air vent along with some more wood trim. And then my favorite feature and what is new for the 2021 Cadillac Escalade is the 38.3-inch screen. There are 3 screens integrated in the center here, giving it a total of the 38.3 inches. We're going to start off over on the left side. This is the control panel. So right now you can see the trip information. If I click on this button on the left side, it will go to trip 2. And then right in the center, you can look at the gauge right in the screen next to it, so you can see the outside temperature along with the time. If you click on map, that will show up the map when you have that on and running. And then the last one is the augmented reality. So basically this utilizes the forward-facing camera and it displays a lot of information. If you have the navigation on and running, it will show you all of that information right there in front of you. So that is a really awesome feature to see. And then the last one is the heads-up display. So you can control the height of it and the brightness. It's currently showing the miles per hour right now. And then looking at the gauge cluster here, you'll see on the left side, I already showed that information. There's the speedometer right in the center, and then you can change your radio on the far right. And then you have some more settings down below, like your tach and your engine temperature, along with your fuel gauge. There's a really nice trim piece surrounding it. It's also covered in leather and more stitching. And then right in the center, we have the third screen. Again, this is a really nice system to see. Very large screen, gives you a lot of information from the driver's seat. This is a touchscreen system, and it's a little bit curved on the far right of it, so you can see all of that information in the far corner. But right now, we are on the home screen, so you can look at your audio and navigation. You have some vehicle information to go into. You can swipe over and look at the ambient lighting, your camera system, any trailer information that you'd like to see. But right now, with the top-down view, you can see that on the right side, and then the forward-facing camera on the left side. We can click on wide just to change up the angle. There's also an overhead angle, and then we can utilize these side mirror cameras too to get that angle. Over on the left side, now we can switch over to the rear view camera, and you have those same angles that you can go through, so you virtually have a 360-degree view, which is awesome to see, along with the 3D overhead. So you can click on these buttons here and see exactly around this vehicle where you'd like to see, and this is all in real time right now, so you can see all of these vehicles surrounding this car right now. There's also a hitch mode, so you can back up and easily get adjusted with your trailer. And then you have the guidelines, which you can turn on and off. So that is a very awesome system to see. Over on the left side, there are presets from the home button. You have audio. You can go into navigation when you have that on and running, along with your Bluetooth. And then there's some other settings that you can go into. You can look at the engine hours, the date and time. You have brake life, along with your air filter life, and a lot more information to go through. It is very nice to see all of this. And this is an easy screen to use to utilize all of this information. So I love how it's angled towards the driver, and it gives you all of this great information to look at. Just underneath that, you'll see more of that wood trim. It extends all the way to the passenger side. There's one air vent underneath that, and then we have a separate screen for all of the climate controls. So you have the fan speed right in the center. This does have a dual zone climate system up front. You have recirc and being able to sync them along with where you'd like the air to go. Very nice row of toggle switches below that to control all of that information. And then right in the center, you'll see more of that wood trim. If we go ahead and open this up, that reveals 2 cup holders along with a little bit of storage space, and then you have some auxiliary ports in front of that. And then you can also control that center screen by using all of these. There's a home button along with a back button. You have navigation along with power and volume for the radio, and then the rotary dial that you can use to go through and scroll through this information. So whether you'd like to use the touchscreen system or all of these controls, it makes it very easy to utilize that screen. And then in front of the shifter, we have the lane keeping assist along with the engine start stop feature, the auto brake hold, and then just by pulling the release on the left side of the shifter, we can go up into reverse, and of course that will pop up with the backup camera. You can also go all the way down into drive. There's also a low range gear that you can utilize as well, and then just by pushing the P on the top, that will put the vehicle into park. And then before we get to the compartment in the middle, you'll see there's a little bit of storage space in front of that. There's more piping and leather along with Escalade spelled out on the back. I'll just pull the release up front, and this gives you a lot of storage space. You can see a 12 volt along with some other auxiliaries, and you have this removable shelf, so you can see just how deep this compartment is. And then making our way to the glove box, there's a lot more room for all of your information that needs to go there. You'll also notice 2 more air vents right in the center, and then leather covering the entire area up underneath that. We'll go ahead and take one last look at these seats. I love the white piping. It gives these seats a very nice look. And then as I mentioned earlier, this has a full panoramic sunroof. You can use that control in the center to go ahead and open that up. There's also some more controls up here with being able to open the sunroof. You can fold down the 3rd row and fold them back up using both of these controls here. And then right in the center, we have the adjustment for the liftgate. You can have it at max, 3/4, or off for the power liftgate, and the dome light switches are up here as well. And then last up, looking at the rear view camera, you can see it's a regular camera right now looking out of that back glass. But if we go ahead and flip it up, now we have an HD camera to give you a lot more visibility behind you. Hopping into the 2nd row of the Cadillac Escalade now, you can see there are 2 individual captain's chairs. I currently have this one reclined all the way back, and the seat is moved all the way back too. There's an adjustable armrest, so you can be very comfortable in the back seat and look at your 12.6-inch screen right in front of you. You can adjust the navigation along with the music, and there's a few other settings that you can go into. These seats also move forwards and backwards, as I mentioned, so if you need a little bit more room for your 3rd row passengers, you can do that if you need to. Right in the center, you have your climate control settings for the 2nd row, along with the heated seat adjustments, and you have 2 cup holders. This opens up like a drawer, so you can hide it away when you're not using them, which is a really nice attention to detail. And then down below, you have some other auxiliaries where you can charge some electronics. You'll also see there's some pockets behind both front seats to give you a little bit more storage space. And then to hop into the 3rd row, you can either walk around right through the middle of these captain's chairs, or you can use that recline lever on the side. We can fold the seat down once, and then by pulling on that tab again, it will lift up the back of the seat. And this gives you an ample amount of room to get into the 3rd row. And now once in the 3rd row, at 5'10", I have about 4 or 5 inches above my head and plenty of room for my legs. I have the seat almost all the way back, and as I mentioned, it does slide forwards and backwards just to give you a little bit more room. But I could have 2 people here next to me and be very comfortable in the 3rd row. There's a lot of space. You have a cup holder on both sides with a little bit of storage space, and then also some outlets where you can charge electronics. And last up, we'll go ahead and take a look at the rear storage space. The easiest way to do this is just to push on the Cadillac emblem, and it will automatically open up. That is a very cool feature to see. And with the 3rd row up, you can see there's a ton of room for anything that you'd like to place in the back. There's also a little bit of storage up underneath the floor if you need to utilize that. You can also fold up and down the 3rd row. Just by holding on these buttons, you'll see them automatically go down, and then you can use the 2 buttons in front of that and fold the backrest down for the 2nd row. So you can see just how much space you have in the back to utilize this area, and then you can just push on these 2 buttons and bring the 3rd row back up. So it's very nice to be able to do that for the 3rd row. It just gives you a little bit more versatility in being able to put in items. And then with the power liftgate, we can just push this button up top and it will automatically close. Alright, so getting the 2021 Cadillac Escalade out on the road now. This is such a massive SUV. It has a ton to offer, and I love what they've done for the 21-year model. I'm going to start with the screen right in the center, the obvious here. This is such a large screen, but I really love how it's still divided with your gauge cluster in the middle. You have your infotainment screen, and then a few settings on the left side. But I think what's really cool is the fact that the outer 2 screens are connected with a gloss black trim piece that runs just above the gauge cluster. So technically that is one screen with the gauge cluster right in the center, and then everything is lined with leather and chrome. So it has a really nice look to it. But let's go ahead and give it a little bit of gas with this 6.2 liter V8. It has a lot of weight to carry, but we're up to the speed limit just like that. You can have this vehicle packed with all your friends and family or whatever you need to load in the back and not have any issues. Merging out into highway traffic, I don't see any problems with this engine. And it's really cool to see that they now offer a 3-liter turbo diesel. So if you'd like to get that engine option, you have the option to do that, which is really cool. But in the interior here, it's so luxurious feeling. We have the wood trim. You can see that running throughout, the white piping, these leather seats. They are incredibly comfortable, and I love the design of everything in the center area here. It's very minimalistic as far as buttons. You do have a very nice row of buttons, however, for the climate controls, but it's laid out well, and that's pretty much all that you have. Everything else is in the infotainment system or down below here to control that screen. So I love how it looks. It has a very premium and luxurious look to it, and it's just a really well put together interior. We have the heated and ventilated seats. You have 2 different options for the heated. You can do the whole seat or just the lower portion of the seat. And then we have this camera in the rear view mirror to give you a little bit more visibility. This is a large vehicle, but I can still see over my right shoulder all the way to that back pillar. Over my left shoulder, I can see out of this back glass here. It's really not all that bulky from the driver's seat here, but you do have that 360-degree camera. As you saw, all of those different angles that you can go through to see around this entire vehicle, parking lot situations and things like that, it's going to be really helpful for. But general visibility from the driver's seat, you have massive glass all around, so it's very nice to be able to see around. And then just putting a couple miles on this so far, it is driving incredibly smooth. I love how it's adapting to the road. And just by using this mode button on the left side, we went from touring mode to sport mode, and I can feel it downshift just a little bit there. You can hear that exhaust get a little bit louder. It's nothing crazy. For an SUV like this, you want it to be luxurious and comfortable, and it's very quiet on the inside. You're definitely going to get that experience. It's very comfortable and quiet. It's hard to hear road noise or wind noise, so I really like that aspect to it. And then just in general, this is a really awesome large size SUV. If you need the space, there is so much room behind the third row, even with them up. And I love the fact too that you can fold down the third row from up here. You have a lot of options to be able to fold down these seats and a lot of versatility for people or storage. So it's a massive SUV. It drives really well. It's very easy to see all around. We have some really nice updates for the 2021 year model. But I think that's going to wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive behind the wheel of this 2021 Cadillac Escalade. Once again, huge shout out to Randy, Mary, and Cadillac for providing this vehicle for me today. Definitely check out their website, and if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button if you want to see more of our daily uploads, and I'll see you guys in the next video.